And we are counting down to that heavyweight bout between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. What will it be? A career one for Anthony Joshua. If he goes past Francis Ngannou, then we would say Joshua is back, AJ is back. But whatever happens, Francis Ngannou can bring the shoka to the full squared rope, but we await that bout in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where to go down for Friday night. And in the world of football, we have Manchester City, the defending champions of the UEFA Champions League. They have become worthy champions through to the quarterfinals of the season's Champions League action and creating history over there. That and many more we get to talk about on the show today. I am Onyinyechi Obaro. It is in the game. All right, you can join the conversation. Get to follow, like our social media platforms at News Central TV. Do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hashtag in the game. Join the conversation. Let's run through our top 5 stories making the rounds in the world of sport. I will be starting from the lady they call Agbabola. Super Falcons striker Safa House. She was at courtside to watch Golden State Warriors outclass Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA. The Super Falcons star, who recently joined American club Bay FC, was accompanied by her teammate Dinah Castellanos. The two players, they met at Warriors superstar Stephen Curry after the game, and they exchanged jersey in that encounter. In that NBA game, we had the Warriors bouncing back to beat 2021 NBA champions following an embarrassing 52-point defeat on the road against the Boston Celtics a few days ago. The 2022 NBA champions urged Giannis Antetokounmpo's Milwaukee Bucks at 125-90, with Steph Curry scoring 29 points. The win leaves the Warriors with 33-28 record, and they remain ninth in the Western Conference. But that day will be marked by the appearance of Asisat Oshoala to be at courtside for that historic win for the Golden State Warriors. Agbabola doing something wonderful over there in the world of sport. Moving away from that, after the African Cup of Nations, I would say we're still raising the dust from the Afcon Côte d'Ivoire 2023. Bafana Bafana coach Hugo Broos, he stunned former national team boss and South Africa football great Jomo Sono when he awarded him the African Cup of Nations bronze medal at the South African Football Association House on Wednesday. Orlando Pirates and Jomo Cosmos, the legend Sono, was paying a courtesy visit to the South African Football Association, the SAFA president Danny Jordan, when Hugo Broos surprised him with a recognition of his contribution for the Bafana Bafana in the past. Broos steered the Bafana Bafana to the bronze medal at the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast last month, while Sono, he stepped in as the Bafana coach during his spells in 1998, 2002 and in 2003. Bafana Bafana participated in the FIFA Series International Friendlies pilot project in Algeria next. So that competition will run from March 18 to 26. They also meet Andorra in the stage debut in May for the 1954 in that Annaba for March 21. And Algeria, they will meet Algeria next in the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Algiers for March 26 before they get to face Nigeria in the World Cup qualifiers. But coach Hugo Broos has done something wonderful right there, having to dedicate and also gift Jomo Sono his bronze medal for the African Cup of Nations. All right, straight to the La Liga right now. We get updates that Real Madrid are set to be without Jude Bellingham until the end of March after their match for the evening against RB Leipzig in that UEFA Champions League action. Now, this is after he was hit with a 2-game ban for his red card against Valencia over the weekend. Bellingham was sent off for complaining to the referee, telling Jesus Gil Mazono that he did use the F word after he headed the ball following that final whistle during their 2-2 draw with Valencia. He has been fined £660,000 and Real Madrid have been fined £700,000. In order to get the suspension annulled, Real Madrid had to prove that there was a fundamental error in the expulsion of Bellingham in that sending off he got. Gil Mozano wrote in his report that his complaint in his face was in a repeated and aggressive manner. That's according to the central referee. Now, during that 11-second video clip submitted, as you see on your screen, Real Madrid did not include the interactions between the referee and Bellingham previously, and they could not prove that Bellingham's manner was not aggressive as per the competition committee. Real Madrid will now appeal that decision against Jude Bellingham. There will be either no ban for him or 2 games for Bellingham at least. At the minimum, that offence is just for 2 or 4 games. So it will be on Real Madrid to provide new evidence in their appeal. He's set to be out for the Law Blackers in their home clash against Celta Vigo and then their trip to El Sadr to face Osasuna. With the international break on the horizon, the next Real Madrid game that he will get to feature might be on the 31st of March against Athletic Club at home. Now, Real Madrid must be very, very intentional with that appeal there. Get all the footages they need. Get the confrontation before the red card. Of course, in having to, back Jude Bellingham to avert that ban that has been issued on him by La Liga. Something beautiful happened in the world of snooker as Ronnie O'Sullivan won the inaugural season World Masters of Snooker by beating Luca Bessel at 5-2 in the final. The score was 2-2 at the interval, with O'Sullivan making breaks of 95 and 94 and Bessel at 81. The break of 121 put O'Sullivan at 3-2 up and also took him to the next frame before 124. He secured the victory and then won £250,000 as the top prize money for the 48-year-old. The semi-final took place at the same day as the final of O'Sullivan, where he booked the place in the final courtesy of that 4-1 win against Jude Trump, while Brazil had to beat Mark Allen at 4-2 before having to face O'Sullivan in the final of the event. The tournament in Saudi Arabia included a golden ball worth 20 points, which was placed on the top cushion throughout the frame for as long as the player could still complete the maximum break, and was removed after the opportunity was over. So you could see that Saudi Arabia has become a sporting home, a place where we can host anything. Not to forget that Saudi Arabia will be hosting Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou for that heavyweight bout. Here, snooker just finished, and it was O'Sullivan taking the last laugh. Congratulations to the 40-year-old. Snooker is a sport that any age can play, and at 40, he's £250,000 richer. What can't you do? Come on, take that challenge there. Let's wrap up our top 5 story by going to the world of tennis, where Rafael Nadal, not good news there, has withdrawn from the Indian Wells on Wednesday on the eve of the first round match. He says he is not ready to play at the highest level. The Spaniard returned to competition in Brisbane in January after almost a year on the sideline with a hip injury, but he had to miss the Australian Open with another muscle tear. He lost to Carlos Alcaraz, his compatriot, in an exhibition event in Las Vegas on Sunday, but he looked poised to try to win a 4th title in California desert before pulling out ahead of the match against Canadian Milo Raonic. Nadal will be replaced by lucky loser Smith Nagel, who will be the first Indian in the main draw of the ATP Masters 1000 event since Pranesh Gunesh at the Miami Open in 2019. Nadal had promised us that he would make the announcement himself when he decides to retire. But the way it's looking right now, it seems retirement is knocking at the door of the greatest of all time in the world of tennis, leaving Novak Djokovic to have his reign as the GOAT of tennis. All right, I cannot wait for his quick recovery over there, but also the time ticking for the announcement of that retirement by Rafael Nadal. There you have it, our top 5 stories at this time. We'll return with more updates in the world of sport. We'll take you to Ghana, where the 13th African Games is ongoing. Do not go anywhere, and the game continues. Welcome back. It's watching In the Game. If you just missed our top 5 stories, you can follow up. get to follow, like our social media platforms at News Central TV. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Engage the hashtag in the game. We're streaming live on Facebook right now, so catch up with all that you've missed. But going deeper into the world of sports, let's bring an update from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, that will host that heavyweight clash between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. We cannot wait. They'll be meeting for the very first time as Anthony Joshua will take on Francis Ngannou for a heavyweight clash in Riyadh. Now, remember that Tyson Fury was about to go into that unification bout between himself and Alexander Usyk will be at ringside for that encounter where Joshua will have to prove himself. A career-defining time for Anthony Joshua will be taken from our UFC champion, but now the PFL pugilist over there, that's Francis Ngannou, in an encounter in the 4-squared rope. Both fighters have got a unique feature, with both of them being orthodox boxers. Anthony Joshua has always complained about having to face a southpaw. But looking at Anthony Joshua's history in the fight he has to take before taking on Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua had taken Robert Helenius, taken Otto Wallin in an encounter, and have been dominant in those encounters. But now face a daunting task to go up against Francis Ngannou, who nearly stopped Tyson Fury in an encounter over there in Saudi Arabia. They call that an exhibition bout, but to Francis Ngannou, it was no exhibition bout. Now, looking at Anthony Joshua's record there, we can say that in that bout against Otto Wallin, it was a technical knockout, round 5 there. It was a win for him. So a win for him there. Robert Helenius, a knockout in the 7th round, a big win for Anthony Joshua. Against Jermaine Franklin, unanimous decision win for Anthony Joshua, in favor of Anthony Joshua. He lost to Alexander Usyk in 2022 by split decision. He also lost by unanimous decision over there in 2021, back-to-back losses for him. So you could see from 2019 to 2022 was a tough time for Anthony Joshua there, losing in 2019 in that first encounter by technical knockout in the 7th round there to Andy Ruiz Jr. He returned to get a win, faced Kubrat Pulev there, knocked him out in the 9th round to retain his WBA, IBF, WBO titles there in that win, but lost them to Alexander Usyk in 2 encounters. After that, Anthony Joshua needed fights to give himself a boost, and that's why he faced Jermaine Franklin in 23, faced Robert Helenius in 23, and Otto Wallin in 2023, just ahead of this bout against Francis Ngannou. With those back-to-back wins give Anthony Joshua the leverage he needs to go up against Francis Ngannou. Let's listen to a boxing expert in the person of Nnamdi Muwete, what he had to say on our show, Game On, of yesterday. So having to weigh the options between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Let's listen to Muwete.
Ngannou is a professional boxing novice that only had 10 rounds. This is not what we call an RNG fight, you know. I mean, guys have been knocked out and knocked down. How can you call that an exhibition? Saudi Arabia is putting up, listen, Anthony Joshua is making $50 million. Ngannou is making $20 million. Saudi Arabia will not put up that kind of money for an exhibition fight. It's a legit fight, and those that talked about it being an exhibition, go and ask Tyson Fury if that was an exhibition, you know, when he clashed with Ngannou the last time. The defeat will be a disaster, really, to tell you the truth, because one, Ngannou, that will be his 2nd fight, and it depends on how he beats Ngannou. If he goes in there fighting with fear, hold, grab, and jab, and run around, and at the end of the 10th round, he wins a unanimous decision, the fans will still say, hey, that's a boring fight. So he has to come out, take the fight to Ngannou, break Ngannou down, and then knock him out. Anything less than that, Anthony Joshua will still have his haters and his critics. Ngannou is a puncher. You know, he will always have a puncher's chance. If Anthony Joshua walks into a big right hand, Ngannou is going to step in and take him out. That's his chance of Anthony Joshua being knocked out cold Friday night. But Anthony Joshua has got a lot going for himself now. He's got a good corner in Ben Davidson. And Ben Davidson, you remember, used to train Tyson Fury. So they will go in there and map out a good plan. He has to start putting the rounds in the bag from the beginning of the fight. In the meantime, Ngannou is going to be looking for that one big punch. And at the end, remember also Ngannou from the Tyson Fury fight, he was running on empty gas towards the later part of the fight. So if AJ can break him down from the beginning, he stands a good chance of stopping him in the later part of the fight.
An expert there, one who knows what it is to go down between two pugilists in the four squared rope. Nnamdi Moetta there having to weigh the options between Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. But let's compare these two fighters together. By age, of course, Francis Ngannou is older by age, 37, having to face up with Anthony Joshua, who is 34. By height, 2 inches. Anthony Joshua is taller than Francis Ngannou. The reach, just 1 inch is Francis Ngannou, who is ahead of Anthony Joshua there by 1 inch at 82 and 83. Francis Ngannou takes this one ahead of Anthony Joshua by weight. You can see that Ngannou weighs more, 272 pounds against 251 pounds of Anthony Joshua. A record that they've got, and Francis Ngannou has only made one. That's his debut against Tyson Fury. So no loss yet, because that decision there was unanimous. So for Anthony Joshua, he's got 3 losses, which we told you earlier on, and has had 27 bouts. Okay, tail of the tape between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. But what is it gonna be on Friday night? Is it gonna be Anthony Joshua getting the win, or Francis Ngannou having to shake Joshua with that test from one who is weightier and taller than Anthony Joshua? All right, moving away from that, let's take you to Ghana right now, where the 13th African Games is ongoing. We made a quick stop in the Games Village, hosting the athletes. Of course, the 13th African Games is set to take place in Accra, Ghana, and it will officially begin on the 8th of March, where the opening ceremony will be done. We'll see the parade, the colors, the sight and sounds from Accra, Ghana. The Games Village, located in the campus of the University of Ghana in Legon City, has welcomed athletes from Algeria, Benin Republic, Congo, Sierra Leone, and Togo. Algeria had sent a delegation of 40 members, including 22 athletes, 5 medical personnel, 7 officials, and 4 administrative staff to the Games Village. Benin Republic had arrived with a team of 10 consisting of 7 athletes and 3 officials. Now, by these numbers, you know the kind of medals they're expecting from the competition. Congo Republic has fielded a single table tennis player, while Sierra Leone has brought 3 representatives, including 2 athletes and 1 official. Togo has arrived with a contingent of 16 members composed of 9 athletes, 2 medical doctors, 2 coaches, and 3 officials. Other countries expected to arrive at the Games Village are Nigeria. Remember, we did tell you about Nigerian contingent who already boarded their flight down to Accra and got a motivation from the Sport Minister, John Eno, telling them that they should go do the country proud. Though preparations surrounding the African Games for Nigeria is still a bit of concern, so they're still being expected in Accra, Ghana. South Africa is still expected, Uganda is still expected, Tunisia, Madagascar, and Eritrea. They are all still expected at the Games Village of the African Games. Now let's tell you that badminton has started at the African Games. Countries are gearing up for that Olympic ticket for the Paris 2024 Olympics. The badminton began even after being rescheduled. Now we're told that earlier that badminton will begin on the 5th of March. But it was rescheduled by the Sport Ministry to begin on the 7th of March, and it's already begun. We could see that the Zambian badminton player, Malenga, is taking on Managa from DR Congo. That's Congo over there. Badminton was initially expected to kickstart the games at March 3rd, but could not start due to undisclosed reasons, as they say. But the delay of arrival of materials and equipment required for the setup of the event, and also that massively contributed to the decision of rescheduling the start of badminton. Now, of course, we've got 3 courts, court 1, court 2, court 3, where games will be played, both the women's game and the men's game. The badminton will be one of those games that would be an Olympic qualifier, where we'll get Africa's representative at the badminton event for Paris 2024 Olympics. Already started. We already have winners already. You can see that game between Eritrea, where their player, Samir, is leading in that court 3 there against Obiang Ugwoma Mfono from, of course, Gambia. While the other court 2 has got the likes of Mulenga and Mumananga Ndusi from DR Congo. Uganda have an athletes, that's Lubega against Salah from Egypt at court 1. So badminton has started. Table tennis already wrapping up with a team event right now, and we have badminton starting up as the second sport at the 13th African Games. All right, let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, we will go into the world of football to bring you the results and fixtures, especially the UEFA Champions League. Don't go anywhere, and the game continues. Now it's time to talk football. Let's give you the fixtures results that we expect in the world of football, especially from the African scene. I'm starting from Egypt right now, where we got one game between Pyramids and Fako FC, having to share the sports there, Pyramids and Fako in that Egyptian Premier League. Today, we expect Future FC to take on ZFC for the fixture expected in the Egyptian Premier League. To Morocco, where we got one game, RSB Berkane, they lost at home to FAR Rabat in that encounter. Oh, they were expecting a 3-point even after having their campaign at the CAF Confederation Cup. All right, we go to South Africa, where Chippa United went 3-0 against Richards Bay. And I would say there was a star boy in action, and that is Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali. Stanley Nwabali, again, he had to bag a clean sheet in that South African PSL encounter between his side, Chippa United, and Richards Bay. Now, this is Stanley Nwabali coming after that African Cup of Nations, exploits there. The 27-year-old goalie had a solid outing for the Chile Boys, as they are popularly known, as they defeated Richards Bay 3-0 at the Premier League action for Wednesday. Stanley was one of Nigeria's best players at the African Cup of Nations, which we did see for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. According to reports, that clean sheet against Richards Bay brings his total clean sheets to 8 in 17 PSL games for Chippa United. So not only is he having exploits for the Nigerian Super Eagles, he has taken the same form to the South African PSL for Chippa United. So reminding you the results once again, clean sheet for Chippa United thanks to Stanley Nwabali's saves in that encounter. Orlando Pirates shared the spoils with Cape Town Spurs, while Sekhukhune United had a long goal which was convincing enough to give them 3 points against Royal AM. All right, straight to Europe right now, the UEFA Champions League, the round of 16, second leg. We now know those teams that have gotten the quarterfinal ticket for this season's UEFA Champions League action. Manchester City were in action with FC Copenhagen, and Real Madrid were also in action with RB Leipzig. Now, in that encounter, we can say the knockout stages are heating up. Defending champion Manchester City are becoming worthy defending champions as they created history in that game against Copenhagen. Now, of course, they had that repeated 3-1 win against Copenhagen at the Etihad Stadium to progress 6-2 on aggregate, with Erling Haaland completing the scoring with 6 of the competition. A great one for Erling Haaland there. In the other game, we did see Paris Saint-Germain also took 2-goal advantage from the first leg, as Kylian Mbappe was great in action against Real Sociedad. Harry Kane was good for Bayern Munich. But in the second game for yesterday, we did see Real Madrid. They went 1-0 the home leg against RB Leipzig. But Vinicius Jr. did put them ahead in that night. And although Willy Orban did score, that goal could not just give them a pass to the quarterfinal of the competition. It was a game that had a lot of drama Vinicius Jr. should have gotten a red card, but of course the referee overlooked. Jude Bellingham was in action for them, but if the ban he got from La Liga still stands, he will not be in action for them for 2 matches. All right, that encounter there with a lot of drama, but 2 teams stand tall, Manchester City and Real Madrid, through to the next round. So for Carlo Ancelotti and Marco Reus, they got some reaction over there after the game. They were filled with a lot of drama. Let's listen to the coaches.
Porque ha sido un partido complicado, no bien jugado, jugado mal, entonces mucho sufrimiento. Ahora muy feliz, porque llegamos a cuarto de final. Como he dicho, estamos mejor que nunca, porque tenemos 7 puntos de ventaja en la liga, en cuarto de final. Si nos decían esto al principio de la temporada, lo habíamos firmado.
Ich habe großen Respekt vor Real, vor der Mannschaft und nochmal herzlichen Glückwunsch zum Weiterkommen. Aber ich muss immer wieder die tolle Leistung meiner Jungs herausheben. In so einem K.O.-Spiel mit dem Hinspielergebnis hierher zu kommen und so aufzutreten und wirklich zu zeigen, dass man dran glaubt. Das ist dann schon außergewöhnlich. Jetzt leben wir allerdings im Tagesgeschäft Fußball und am Samstag spielen wir gegen Darmstadt 98. Da brauche ich eine ähnliche Leistung und ein besseres Ergebnis. So schnell geht es dann auch weiter.
Carlo Ancelotti not happy with that result there, having to share the spoils with RB Leipzig, but he should take his win, having the ticket to the quarterfinal of this competition. So let's see the qualifying teams for the Champions League quarterfinals. Yes, we can tell you that Bayern Munich picked theirs on Tuesday, Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday, while Manchester City and Real Madrid joined the qualified teams to the quarterfinal of the UEFA Champions League for this season. There, Manchester City created a record with the likes of Erling Haaland jumping the pecking order with the goals, of course, record-scoring goals there for the 21-year-old. Of course, Haaland reached 41 UEFA Champions League goals in a record-breaking time. Erling Haaland made it 41 in 37 Champions League games. He's now on the same amount of UEFA Champions League games, same as Sergio Aguero. Manchester City became the 3rd to win the Champions League games in a row. They joined Real Madrid when they did it in 2015 and Bayern Munich when they did that in 2013 and 2020. City right now are balling. They had a treble season and last season now they are back again. 30 games unbeaten at home in the Champions League. What a way for Pep Guardiola's Chargers over there. They are balling. Having the likes of Erling Haaland, they made it 10 wins in a row and 30 games unbeaten in the UEFA Champions League on their home turf at Etihad. Oh, what a way to crown that one there. But congratulations to Manchester City creating the records, and there's still more records. If they defend this title, still more records to be created by Manchester City. All right, so time not our friend. We have to call it a wrap. But let me remind you the NBA results once again. We have Golden State Warriors going past Milwaukee Bucks in that encounter, while the likes of Atlanta Hawks, LA Clippers, Memphis Grizzlies, Chicago Bulls, Oklahoma City Thunder, and Sacramento Kings, they were all on the winning side. All right, you can catch more. Get to follow like our social media platforms at News Central TV. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hashtag in the game. Join the conversation. So keep a tab with us at 9 p.m. West African time. We have Game On. You don't want to miss that. I am Onyinyechi Obaro. Thank you.